Afternoon, everybody. I'm happy for you to join us today. Today's table talk. It's 12 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and we'll get started. But we're excited to have you to join us today, talking Canvas tips and tricks. So this is always kind of a good time in between terms to kind of find out some new things that make our lives a little bit easier as we get ready for spring too. But we're excited to have Sarah Lassiter, Associate Manager of Course Materials and Technologies, join us, and Adam Aguilar, our Education Technology Specialist. So they're going to give us a little bit of overview of some things that we can do in Canvas to make our life a little bit easier. And then we'll have some time to open up for questions. And that's what we really want these table talks to be, just kind of a short presentation, 10 minutes or so, and then just time for faculty to ask questions and kind of work on that development side for us. So I'm going to turn it over to Adam and Sarah. If you have questions during the Q&A, please pipe up. Otherwise, I'll kind of monitor the chat and help facilitate them. So Adam, Sarah, take it away.
Perfect. Thank you, Brandon, for that introduction. And thank you all for joining us today for this Canvas tips and tricks table talk. And I think Brandon is right. This comes at a good time, right before we get ready for Spring 2 launch. We hope that this will be an informative session for you guys and can take away a lot from this. So we would like to take this time to give you a refresher on some of the classic features in Canvas, while also sharing some news on new features that will be available in Spring 2. And we'll also throw in a sneak peek of a new tool that we will be piloting this summer. And as Brandon mentioned, at the end, we'll have some time for questions. So let's go ahead and get started with gradebook features. And can you all see my screen that I'm sharing? Perfect. Okay, so let's get started with automatic zeros. So automatic zeros is something that we piloted last year, and we got good feedback from students and faculty who really liked it. And we got approval to go ahead and launch it live starting in Spring 2. So what automatic zeros is that when students have not attempted to submit an assignment and the due date has passed, they will automatically be given a 0 in the gradebook. So this on the instructor side will save you time from having to manually enter zeros for all those students, right? And also on the student end, it will give them a more accurate representation of the grade. That's because in the past, Canvas does not take these dashes into consideration. So students were seeing more of an inflated grade showing up in the gradebook. So this, in turn, what can happen is if students see that updated score immediately after it's given, this could prompt them to take action and perhaps go back. And even if it's a late submission, students are going to still try and attempt that because they see that, well, hey, why did my average go down so drastically? So we hope that that's going to help out for faculty in grading and for students to get work turned in. Okay, so next topic is going to be, actually, I'm sorry, I wanted to talk a little bit more about the automatic zeros. I want to also mention that just because students are given a 0, they could still attempt to go in here, like I said, and make a submission. But if you want to be graceful and give them the opportunity to submit without taking the points away, you can go in here and let's say these students here all got automatic zeros for the week 5 discussion 1 question. So you can go in here and click this arrow, and you can actually waive that, whether it's late or missing, you can actually go in here and select none. And now that's going to be waived. So you can just go into SpeedGrader and grade that as you normally would. And whatever grade you're giving them here, that's going to be, of course, the grade that's going to be transmitted to the gradebook. Awesome. So now let's look at gradebook view options. So if you're not happy with how the arrangement is for the columns in your gradebook, fear not, because you can change that. Canvas has a feature where you go up to the gear here, select this, go to view options, and you're able to change the arrangement of your gradebook columns. So it's currently set up to default order. But if you don't like this, Canvas has a few options that you can choose from here. So you can play around with these and kind of test them before you actually choose something. So once you figure out which one you like, just select it. Just go down to the bottom here and hit apply settings, and that will now be your new arrangement going forward. And if you teach multiple courses, you will have to do this for each course. It's not going to change them for all at the same time. Alrighty, so another feature that is going to be helpful for instructors is going to be apply filters, which is here. You're able to select multiple filters at the same time. So if you just want to get a view of all the assignments, you're able to go to assignment groups and select assignments, and you're going to view just assignments. So this can also make things easier if you're just trying to get a certain view of certain assignments here in the gradebook. We do have a few options too, like you can do modules. If you just want to view module assignments and discussion, you could also select that option. So there's plenty of choices that you can play with here. Again, this it could make life easier for instructors. And another good feature that's available here in the gradebook is going to be what I call the message students who option. So you're actually able to message students from the gradebook by selecting these three dots here. There's an option called message students who. So if you select this, there's certain criteria that you can use to message students. So here, let's say students, oh, actually, I don't want to use this one. Okay. I want to use this week 5 discussion question 1, message students who, and we have a few students who didn't make that attempt right. So that's why they got the automatic zeros. So I want to reach out to those 4 students. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for students who have not yet submitted. And the great thing about this is that Canvas automatically finds those students for you. So here are the 4 students. It can show who they are. Here are the recipients. Canvas automatically inserts a subject for you, but you can go in here and edit this. And I have a pre-crafted message that I'm just going to copy and paste. And we're good to go. So I'm just going to hit send. And there was an error sending this. Okay, I'm in a test environment, so some things sometimes glitch up in here. But that in our production environment will work. Okay, so we're good there. Awesome. And all right. So that's what I wanted to share for the gradebook features. So the next thing that I want to move on to is how to find AI and similarity reports in our Canvas assignments. Okay, so this is my week 1 assignment 1. And to navigate over to find the Turnitin and similarity and AI score, you'll go into your speed grader. And right here, you'll see the similarity percentage score. So what you're going to want to do is select this. Once you select this, it'll take you into what we call the feedback studio and turn it in. And here you'll be able to find both similarity and the AI writing score. So if you want to download these files for any reason, please select this icon here on the top right-hand side, and you're able to select both of these and it'll download to your computer. I do want to share this infographic on the similarities and differences between Turnitin's similarity score and Turnitin's AI writing indicator. So this is just to give you a little bit of background of how Turnitin is, what they're looking for when these reports are being ran. So if you see here for the Turnitin similarity score, the percentage represents the amount of a submitted paper's content that matches content within Turnitin's database. So anything in their database that they have is going to be used to match any file that students submit. The score represents exact matches to text segments of human written text. And when you look on the Turnitin's writing indicator, the percentage indicates the amount of qualifying text within the submissions that Turnitin's AI writing identification model determines was generated by AI. The number doesn't represent an exact match, but a percentage of the text that was likely generated by AI. So that term likely is a little ambiguous. And you can see here the similarities. And I think this is important to understand that neither percentage should be used as a standalone data point in determining whether academic integrity has been compromised. Both percentages should be used to begin a conversation with the student. And I think we do a good job of doing that. I also want to mention that we have these different colors in here. Whenever we get a percentage score, there's always a color attributed to that percentage score. So I want to give you a little bit of information about what those colors actually mean. So this is from Turnitin's website. And down here is the similarity score colors indicate. So blue means that there's no matching text. Green is 1 word to 24% matching text. Yellow is 25 to 49. Orange 50 to 74, and red 75 to 100% matching text. Another important thing that I want to highlight here is that Turnitin will give you a low percentage indicator in the report. So if you've ever seen this right here, this indicates incorrectly. Turnitin's kind of built this for anything that falls within the 1% to 19% range. To avoid any potential incidents of false positives, no score or highlights are attributed for AI detection within that range. And I'll be sure to share these files with you guys. I can put them in the chat. Right. Awesome.
Adam and Sarah put in
yes,
those
go
links
ahead.
in the chat there for anybody who doesn't have that pulled up. Adam, I'll ask you, and if you have anything else you want to present, please go ahead. Otherwise, we can open up the questions. But especially maybe for new faculty who aren't familiar with Canvas or still kind of getting familiar, is Turnitin automatically toggled for these assignments? Is it something that professors need to do for each assignment, or does it depend?
Right, that's a good question. So when the course is being developed, usually that's when in the course development process, there's the option to have it turned on. So there is a way for faculty to see if it's on. And let me go here to this gradebook. So there's that color indicator that I mentioned. If you see this color indicator for the assignments, once a student has submitted, that will tell you that Turnitin is in fact on for that assignment. Faculty can request to have it turned on as well. Usually program directors would be the ones who make the request. But of course, faculty can let us know that, hey, I don't think it's on, and they can submit a ticket to us, and we can take a look at that.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. So now I want to move on to a new feature that Canvas has released, and this new feature is called checkpoints. So checkpoints is actually a cool feature that will allow us to have multiple due dates for our discussion boards. The different due dates will now be visible in 3 different places. So here I am in the modules. I'm going to go into my student view. And it was in the past that Canvas only showed the one single due dates, and which was to the reply to the topic. But now you can see here in the drop-down menu, Canvas with the checkpoints now gives you the 2 different due dates, the reply to the initial topic and the required 2 replies to the 2 other classmates, which is how we have most of our discussion boards set up. They have the initial response and the 2 replies, or some programs even have 3 replies that they need for students to complete. So there's visibility here in modules, but also when you go into the syllabus, students will see right here, you see the first part is due here on March 4th, but you see here also is the second component for the 2 required replies. So there's that visibility. And if I go back into the discussion board, there's even more visibility. With checkpoints, you could view the due dates by clicking on this link on the left-hand side, and students will be able to see that. So in this case, this test student has completed both components of the discussion board, and it'll give them the timestamp and let them know by highlighting it green that it's been completed. If it's not been completed and the due date has passed, then that's going to be highlighted as red.
I think looking in the chat, we got a lot of people who are excited about that. I'm one of them. And a question came through. I think we got the answer, but somebody was asking if instructional design will set that up, or do we need to do that as individual professors? And instructional design will do that for us, won't you?
Yes, we will do that. We will begin piloting this summer. We actually did a pilot with a tool that was similar to this called Harmonize. But what checkpoints is, it's kind of it's Canvas's in-house solution to that, because Canvas doesn't want to give any market share to any competitors. But we will, I think here pretty soon we'll start taking volunteers who would like to pilot this alongside us, and we believe that it's a good solution for what I think many faculty have been wanting for a long time.
Excellent. I think Amanda's going to send out a sign-up sheet for that here pretty soon. So very excited to hear that.
All right. And just kind of to finish up here with checkpoints, I want to show you what this is going to look like on the faculty end, because the grading aspect is going to change just a little bit, Brandon, not too much. So let me go ahead and show you what this looks like in the speed grader. Okay, so you'll notice the layout is pretty much the same. But here, this assessment piece is the component of checkpoints. So as a faculty, you'll still grade this as you normally would using the rubric. So here I've given the student 25 for the first component, and then 25 for the second piece for the response to the other classmates. So the rubric part is done. But if you notice here, Canvas tells me rubrics do not auto-populate grades for checkpoints. So since this is a new tool, I do imagine that they're going to eventually fix that, where this rubric feeds over to checkpoints. But for the time being, faculty are going to have to just manually enter this piece and then just hit submit as you normally would, and then that grade would transmit over. So it's just an extra step of having to enter the grades. Again, I don't imagine this being a problem for too long. As you know, Canvas, if enough of its users want something, they will usually get it done. And I hope people here will let them know that. All right, so that concludes my piece. I want to ask my colleague Sarah if she would like to share anything here. I'm sorry I took up most of the time, Sarah.
No, it's okay. I also want to give some space for questions, so I will just save my content for if we don't have any questions. But if you have a question about Canvas or something that you need answered while you have instructional design here to answer, please put it in the chat or come off mute and we'll be happy to help. And if not, I'll just share my stuff. Okay, well, I'll share and then think about if you have any questions. I just have two quick FYIs, new things that we have set up in Canvas that are hopefully helpful and will also be coming out in the cheat sheet that you get at the beginning of every term. But one thing, just an FYI, every Canvas course now has recent announcements on the top of the homepage. So this is just an effort on our part to increase announcement visibility. If you don't use the announcement feature in your courses, that's fine. There won't be anything there. You'll just see the heading recent announcements. But your students, when they get into your course, will see the 3 most recent announcements that you have put out there for them to see. So if you have a welcome announcement that you already have posted, students would see that tomorrow when courses release, and it'll update if you keep posting announcements throughout your term. So this is just an effort, like I said, to hopefully get your students reading your announcements and increasing engagement, because we know you're putting effort into putting those announcements out there. But I'm sure you know from experience that not all students are reading those announcements, and this is hopefully going to help with that. The last thing I want to highlight for everyone is, again, based on some feedback that we got for courses that use videos within their discussion questions. If you have like a welcome discussion or getting to know your class discussion in your course and students are required to submit a video, they can use the native Canvas feature called Studio, where they can actually record their video directly in Canvas. And we were having some trouble with students replying to the videos directly rather than to the discussion post. So we have enabled or disabled a feature where students shouldn't be able to reply to videos anymore. They should actually be replying in the discussion thread. And that is helpful because then that actually populates in SpeedGrader for you rather than being sort of lost on the student's video submission. So if you have no idea what I'm talking about, this is probably not an issue for you and hasn't come up. But if it has been an issue for you, we hope that this is really helpful, and we hope that it clarifies that students have completed their response requirements. This will go hand in hand with the checkpoint feature if and when that is piloted or enabled in your courses. But just another little FYI that we're trying to make sure that your students are commenting on each other's video posts in the correct place and that they're also getting the proper credit they should get for doing those responses. So if you have any questions about anything that Adam and I have shared or anything else. We do have a couple more minutes, but if there aren't any questions, thank you so much for listening, and we're excited about all the cool stuff that we have coming your way, and we're always here to help if there's anything we can do.
So yeah, we'll open it up. Anybody has any questions? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and give you a little bit of time back and wrap things up. So thank you so much to the entire ID team for being here, especially Sarah and Adam. This was really, really great stuff. So appreciate that. And then join us our next meeting. And Dini, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think our next meeting is March 27th. We're going to have Dr. Sandra Cleveland join us, talking about AI in academia, the generative AI revolution. So we'll cover AI's history, rapid evolution, and real-world impacts on education and other fields. So excited to have that. But everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Have a great afternoon, and we'll get this up on our YouTube page here very shortly. Bye-bye.